Can hear you. Okay, I can't see if we are live. Am I live? Am I live, guys? Can you see me? Still not live?
Yeah, see, it says live on YouTube.
Yeah, it says I'm live. Am I live?
You are live on YouTube.
Because I can't see the screen, so I don't really know. Am I live, guys? Go to my channel, see. It says I'm live, so I think I'm just gonna. Yeah. I think I had to.
You're live.
Mute me. Mute the phones. Mute. Have you muted the phone? I'm hearing myself go like repeat over and over, so I don't know which one's which. I'm live. Okay, I'm live. Okay, where's right? If I'm live, everyone just excuse me because technology is one of those things that I'm like literally learning as I'm doing this. I'm learning as I don't know where I am. Okay, I'm gonna carry on because okay, I'm gonna make a start, even though it's like repeating what I'm saying. I'm just gonna make a start. Okay. How do I turn that off? That's what I'm saying. I don't know how to I don't know how to change it so that I'm with the
You're always going to be about 20 seconds behind the recording. That's how it works.
Oh, right. Okay. Thank you for telling me that.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let me make this a little bit bigger. Okay, I believe everyone can see me. I believe everyone can see me. Okay, so I'm going to make a start. So welcome to Let's Talk Parenting, the live session. Apologies for the late start, those of you that have joined us. Yeah, technology, yeah, that's all I can say. I'm literally learning as I go along. So thank you to those of you that are joining us. I'm going to just give a couple more minutes to let people join in. But those of you that have already joined us, can you just be kind and share the link to this live session with your friends and family so that they can join us as well. For those who have never seen or heard of me, my name is Veronica Fruitfull, and welcome to my channel, Let's Talk Parenting. Thank you so much for joining us on the live edition. Today, I have 4 amazing people. At the moment, I've got 3 amazing people that have basically offered to come on the live session so that we can just have a discussion about parenting, something that I feel that is really important and it's long overdue, something that I feel that we should definitely be talking about because it impacts basically the next generation. So I'm so happy for my guests who have agreed to join us on the live session. So as I said, just share the link I cannot see the YouTube screen, so I don't really know what's happening there. But I believe you're all on board with me, and you can see me clearly and you can hear me clearly. If you cannot, then just please let me know in the comment section, and I'll be able to see what I can do about it. So if you cannot see me or you cannot hear me, let me know, and I'll see what I can do about it. Also, this is the conversation. Let's Talk Parenting live session, the conversation. So it's not just going to be us having a discussion, but I want you guys to also contribute by basically making comments in the comment section. You know, put your emojis and just help me help me do this basically. So make your comments. Feel free to answer questions. And then towards the end, if you've got questions as well that you want to ask, you are welcome to also ask questions. Okay, so let's get going. I'm very excited because I usually sit in front of the camera and I'm talking to myself. But today I actually get to talk to other people about parenting, something that I'm really, really passionate about. So I'm really, really excited, and I don't want to waste any more time. I want to bring in my guests so that we can all have a discussion together. Since we're all at home, feel free to grab your tea, coffee, water, and just, you know, have a seat and join in the conversation, as I said. So my very first guest that I'm going to bring out is going to be a really lovely lady that I met not that long ago, last year during the corona. You know, we got talking and she was just such an inspiration. In fact, she's the inspiration behind me making the decision to do this live edition. So I said, oh, definitely when I do it, she's got to come on board with me. She is a mother, and she has 6 children. I don't know how she does it. That's why I wanted her to come on board, because I don't know how she does it. Super mom, I call her. In fact, all my ladies that are coming on board today are all super moms, because they're not just parents, but, you know, they have professions as well, and they're juggling everything together. So I'm super proud and happy to have them all come on board today. So let me introduce the very first lady that's coming up. Her name is Nina Cabeza. Come on board, Nina Cabeza. Hi. I can't hear you. Unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Welcome.
Hey, how are you? I just laughed.
Yeah,
when you dropped that 6 children, I was like, oh my God, you know, that's just the cue. Cue it up. 6 children, that's it. I know.
I forgot to mention, she does not just have 6 children. She's a teacher. She's a podcaster. She does so many different things that, you know what, I had to keep it brief. I had to keep the introduction brief. So in order to shock my audience, I thought, let me drop in the 6 children. Welcome on board. How have you been? How have you been?
Thank you. It's been a very busy day. I'm not gonna lie to you. And yeah, it's a busy day. So
busy day. Okay, cool. And how are you handling the corona?
Woo! Corona.
With the kids indoor teaching and everything.
Yeah, the school teaching is getting there now, because I actually have 3 kids that's doing homeschooling. So it is quite a juggle, but the youngest one, which is the reception one, is easier because they have a lot of break. I just realized that they actually go to school just to socialize. They don't really learn much, you know, especially when they're that young. There's so many breaks in between. I'm like, what? But it's going okay. One of my other child just done the A-levels exam in January. This is January still. See, my mind is already gone to March when they're gonna go back out.
Calm down.
And out my house. Yes. But it's going okay. It's going really good. It's really good.
Oh, fantastic. You said something there about, you know, they have a lot of breaks, but you know, one of the thing about that age, which is great, is that particular age, what they do is actually all part of their development, isn't it? Like all that playing is also helping them to learn. So it's set up like that intentionally, isn't it?
Absolutely, you're right. You said something like that intentionally.
So despite everything that's going on, what's the one thing that you are grateful for? Because it's always good to have that in mind, isn't it?
The grateful thing for me is just to being alive with my children. I think that is what's grateful for me at the moment, because I almost could have been the person as well who did not come out of the hospital, but I did. So that's the grateful thing for me at the moment, just being home and appreciating every single moment, bonding and cooking for them. It just makes you to think, wow, I couldn't have been here, but I'm here. So that for me is the it at the moment.
Fantastic. Thank you for coming on board. I really appreciate it. So I'm going to bring in my next guest. This lady is awesome. I call her our version of Naomi Campbell. We've got our own Congolese supermodel. She does amazing work. She has a charity, well, a foundation that she set up back home, which helps vulnerable children. So I'm super proud. In fact, I am jealous of her because she is younger than me and she is doing just such amazing work back home in Africa. So ladies and gentlemen, give some virtual claps for my next guest, Lizette Mibu.
Hey,
sis.
hey, happy new year, happy new year.
Happy New Year.
Happy new year, Nina.
I was telling you earlier, you look way too gorgeous, and I'm the presenter, and you look way more gorgeous than I do. That is not allowed. I should have put a dress code.
She's allowed. You're allowed.
Concealer.
That's the
Lashes.
secret.
I'm so tired. Thank you.
That's the secret.
You look amazing. I love the red lips.
Oh, thank you very much. I wanted to make an effort. Somebody suggested that I, do something a bit bold. So I thought, okay, let's do the red lipstick. Does it work? Yeah.
Perfect. And the nails, it just matches. Yeah.
Thank you. So how's it going for you being at home, homeschooling, work and everything? How's it going?
I mean, it's going well, but it is challenging. I'm not even going to lie.
Okay.
Just the fact that I believe, especially for older kids, they're finding it a bit harder because they enjoy going to school, playing in school. So studying at home is quite challenging. Although on the other spectrum, it's good because we get to spend time alone, spend time at home and bond and, get to do the things we couldn't do when we was busy, drop off to school, go to work, come back, 2 hours in the evening, everybody go to bed. So we have that time as a family to be together. But I also think it's a bit of a struggle as well at the same time because they're getting easily bored, especially the much older kids rather than the younger ones. So I think sometimes I just run out of ideas. How do I entertain them? What do I do? Am I doing something wrong? Am I the problem?
Listen, you're not the only one. I'm sure a lot of our viewers, who are watching will be like, agreeing with what you're saying right now. I don't know what else to do to entertain these children. I've done everything I know how to do. So you're not on your own there. But despite everything, what's the one thing that you are grateful for?
Oh, I'm grateful to be alive, I'm grateful to be alive. I mean, as Christians, I'm just grateful for my belief and my faith, because that is getting me through this. Just the fact that knowing that God is in control and we are not in control, and just putting that burden to God. And it just brings that peace of mind, and just my family, just to be alive, to be here, to be healthy, to have a roof over our head, to still have our jobs, to still have school. I mean, there's so much to be grateful for, There's so much to be grateful for,
I so agree with you. I totally agree with you. But before I say what I'm grateful for, I want to bring out the next guest. Just to make sure that she also gets to hear what I'm grateful for. So my next guest is an amazing lady, and she is a psychotherapist, and she does a lot of work with parents. So she's one of me. I'm not a psychotherapist, but she's a parent coach as well. So she does a lot of work with parents, and I'm just so honored that she agreed to come on board on the live edition. She's also an author, and she has written this awesome book that I've got in my hand. We've got a book launch coming up very soon. It's called The Art of Discipline, The Art of Disciplining with Love. Sorry. Okay, so Give virtual claps for my next guest, Celestina Anie Thomas.
Welcome.
Hey.
Nice introduction.
Hi, Celestina. Where is she?
How you doing?
Nina. Hello, ladies.
Hiya.
Hi.
You look like you're in the office. Are you in the office?
I kind of am.
Naughty, naughty, naughty. You should have turned off. So where's the little one then?
With my sisters. So with my sister and her husband, the little ones, there's two of them.
Oh, yes. I apologize. I did mean to say little ones.
Ones, yes. They're both at my
yeah?
sisters.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming on board today on the live edition. I'm really, 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 really chuffed. There's so much I want to talk about just on this book, but I think I'm going to reserve it for the book launch. But I did want to say, parents, if you are online right now, get a copy of this book, okay? Because it's already out. Get a copy, read it before we do the launch so you can, understand exactly what we are talking about. One question I did want to ask you, my darling, is okay, so
they can get it on my website, floatingcounselling.co.uk/book.
Thank you for putting that up. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the
straight to the point.
The details, so you know where to get the book from. Yes, you're right. But the thing I wanted to ask was, what I love about the book is the fact that the book has all of these proverbs from different African countries, which I thought were absolutely awesome. But why are they not in order? Because if they were in order of alphabetical, then Congo would have been before Nigeria and Zimbabwe. Sis, what was that all about?
I was just
particular order.
For my next book, I'm definitely going to do an alphabet, so Congo can come.
Congo
earlier.
can come first. That's right. Okay. No, I absolutely. I love the book, but like I say, I think I'm going to reserve all that I want to say about the book for the book launch. Today, we're here to just talk about parenting, and I have a couple of questions that I want to ask you, ladies. Just answer from your heart. There's no right or wrong answers. We're just having a conversation about parents and about parenting, and the idea is to just share information, our knowledge, our experience, because people actually learn more from other people's experience, than just reading from a book. And to be honest, a lot of people, I don't know, I don't want to be judgmental, but how many people read books on parenting, right? Come on, Liz.
I know, right? I know. Mother of six.
I do
as well.
Thumbs down.
So, but before we start, guys, I want us to play a quick game, just to get our audience also, while we're waiting for more people to also come on board as well. So the game is called Never Have I Ever, which I'm sure you've all heard of it. Okay, so have you got your papers ready, your answers?
So one is meant to say have and one's meant to say never, right?
Yes. One needs to say have, one needs to say never. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to ask this. Well, I'm not going to ask questions. I'm going to read out statements, and you just need to put a paper that applies to that statement, either have or never. All right, whichever.
Do I have the option to say out loud? Never.
So what you're basically telling me is you didn't do homework. You didn't write it down.
I did my homework. It's upstairs.
I have no choice.
Do it now. Don't get pen and paper and do it now.
I would just shout it out.
Oh my God. Okay. All right, ladies. All right, here we go. Right. Never have I ever forgotten to feed my kids. What have you got? Never.
Never.
Because I mostly breastfed.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to put this up. As the parent coach.
You may I skip lunch, you forgot lunch or not dinner, but I mean the whole day, you forgot to feed them the whole day?
No, when I say never have I mean I forgot to cook, and they had to find their own food.
No.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, I literally, I was so busy, I forgot to cook, and then they just had to find their own way.
Yeah, but yours are a little bit older, so I guess it's okay
Yeah,
for
that's
them.
true.
We would have done
That's
that
the
when they were like
benefit.
5.
How old are
you
they?
know.
So my son's, oh my gosh, my son is going to be 16 next month, literally in 3 weeks.
Oh,
I'm super
wow.
excited.
Well done,
because,
mommy.
Thank you. Because his national insurance number arrived.
Whoa.
And you know the first thing I said to him?
Yes.
Go
Always
get a
1
jab. So I'm really happy. And my daughter's going to be 14. So she's really
wow.
looking forward to that. Yes.
Amazing.
Okay, next question. Never have I ever spent one-to-one time with each of my children.
Never.
Never have I ever spent one-to-one time with each of my kids.
Have.
But in what sense? In what sense? Elaborate.
Well, have you ever spent alone time with each of your children? Just you and them.
Yeah.
Not both of them together, but just you and one of the kids. Just
The whole day.
Quality time. Well,
No,
it
it doesn't have to be the whole day.
doesn't have to be all day.
Could be
15
10
minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. But you spend
Yeah.
that time just you and the child.
Like intentionally.
Yes.
You make it intentional.
Listen, it's okay for you to say never, okay? You're dragging. You're
But that's one of the
dragging.
things I touch about in my
No,
book.
but you know,
actually.
sometimes it can happen.
You are not
Like,
a bad
find
mom.
yourself in the living room with your 10-year-old. It happens. You're watching TV. But what I mean, like, intentional. You plan the day. Today, I'm gonna
Intentionally.
spend 31 hours with each child. That's what I meant. In
It
that
can just be
sense,
10
I have.
minutes. It can just be intentionally
be
spending
5
10
minutes.
minutes. Or
Yes.
5 minutes.
Okay,
You know, just
planned
know
then.
it's just
Okay,
that
Liz,
child.
planned.
Planned. No,
Yeah.
not planned. No.
Okay. All right
Yeah.
then. We'll allow you. All right, next
That's
one.
something to do.
Yeah, it is.
We'll allow you. Okay, next one is never have I ever hugged each of my children.
I would say have.
You had to think about that, Liz. I swear I saw a picture of you hugging one of your kids.
That's what I'm saying. I said have. And you know what I started doing lately? Intentionally is me and my 10-year-old, we come up with 20-second hug a day.
Oh, okay.
20-second. Like you hold each other for 20 seconds and you can really feel the tension going away. And so I started doing that recently.
That is lovely.
20
That is
seconds.
lovely.
Mhm.
Hold on for
But
20
I
seconds.
just want to add something about the hugging part. You know, when the
Yeah.
older they get, the
Yeah.
distance the hug becomes. So now you have to literally force them or chase them down the corridor to get it. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
Chase
My
me,
son and I
hug
will
me,
do men hugs.
you know, so just
Hug, mommy.
I hear you though. Okay, all right. Hear this one. Never have I ever pretended to listen to my child when they were telling you something.
Have.
I think every one of us. Oh my God, Nina,
Oh,
you
no,
every single-
I have.
Nina, so you're telling me
I have.
all of your children, every time they told you something, you paid attention, you listened. Guys, let's give her a round of applause.
Well done, mommy.
thank you.
Good
I
on you,
will
girl.
tell you why. Because
Why?
I'm raising very smart kids. If I don't pay attention, whatever it is
Right.
they're telling you, asking, I'll pay for it later.
Yes.
So I have to.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But come on, we've all faked it. You know, we've all faked that.
I faked with my mom, I faked with my brothers, but my kids, I can't fake it. They could be coming to you and say, "Oh, mommy, do you know what it is? I saw this 100 something," and I'm just like, going, yeah. If I fake it, they will come back and say, "But you said yes."
Oh yeah.
My kids do that as well.
Yeah, they do that. That is very true. They do that.
I have to pay attention with these kids.
Okay, last one. Listen to this one. Never have I ever forgot my child in the park.
Oh, never.
Guilty.
Never.
do you know why I did that one? So there was this thing on, was it TikTok? My daughter, JJ, was it TikTok or Snapchat? TikTok, yeah? There was this thing on TikTok where they were asking kids to like answer questions of things like who does what, your mom or your dad, and you had to point which one did that. And one of the question was, which one of the parent is likely to forget the child in the park or is likely to bring the wrong child in the park? My daughter said me. She said, I'm the one out of me and their dad. I'm the one that's likely to bring the wrong child home. I thought, how? Like,
it happens. It happens.
The things
It's an
kids think
accident.
about. Yeah,
When
so that's
sometimes
why I
go out
added
in
that. Let me just check if other parents do this as well. How's the comment section, guys? So any parents do that? Is there any parents out there that do that? No?
Nina said it can
I've done
happen,
it.
but I don't understand how that can happen. How are you going to
No,
walk away
I'll
from
let
Tell
you
us
something?
a story. What happened? What happened?
No, it can
I'll tell you what
happen.
happened. And I'll be honest, stress. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes when you're so stressed, you just want to walk to the park and you
Yeah.
just lay your kid to run around. And you have so many things happening here, and you just get up and you go and you realize, oh my God,
Where's the people I went with?
I had a pushchair. Do you understand? So within stress situation, that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
When you're stressed, don't go out with your kids. Stay home. You won't
Kim
even know.
Kardashian did that actually.
Did she?
She did. I think a few years ago, I saw in the newspaper, she did that. She went to a restaurant, she left, and then she had to come back and get her child.
Oh yeah, Kim Kardashian, right?
Kim Kardashian.
Right, so there you go, audience. No one's perfect. If Kim Kardashian can forget her child at the restaurant, you can forget your child in the park. It can happen. You know what? Under stressful situations, anything is possible, like Nina said. So yeah, I think that's good advice. You know, when you're stressed, it's not that you can't go out with your kids, but I suppose you just have to be mindful of where you're going, and if you're going to be at that capacity mentally to remember whatever it is that you need to be doing with your children. Great. Thanks, guys. Did you enjoy that?
I did. Yeah, I've got tears in my eyes and to like, you know, don't want my makeup.
Oh gosh. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this is because, well, Let's Talk Parenting is all about sharing information with parents that can help us, you know, to do our best in our role as parents. I've done social work for quite a number of years. And there's a lot of children. In fact, one of the statistics I came across in the NSPCC is one from 2018 that said, you know, like over 52,000 children are, you know, known to children's social care. And I am an advocate for children's social care. I think it's a great establishment because, let's face it, parenting isn't easy as much as people might make it. We make it look like it's easy, but parenting, you know, and that's why a lot of children end up, you know, in the system because parenting isn't easy. And so this channel really is just about sharing information that can help those of us that feel we need it. And you know, there's no such thing as a perfect parent, and you can always learn something. So that's what this channel is here for. But I was looking up the word parenting because I was trying to translate Let's Talk Parenting in French. And when I looked up the word parenting, well, in French, parenting, well, it was being translated as well, it was being interpreted as l'éducation des enfants, l'éducation des enfants. Yeah. Okay. Now, if you think about it, parenting, the word in English, if you were to look up the meaning, it would just basically tell you it's about the activity, that role of being a, you know, the activities of taking care of your children, all the things that we do as a parent. But in French, it's translated as the education of children. So what I want to know is, what do you guys think? How do you interpret parenting? Like, what does it mean for you guys? Let's start with Nina, who came first. So what do you think about that?
I actually like the French, the French thing, the French meaning, the education of children, because for me, what parenting is basically is more what the children are seeing than more than what they're hearing from you. For instance, me, obviously, I've definitely had a terrible teenage years and everything. But as a parent, I observe my own life and how it was. And then I had to make sure that now that I had kids, I had to behave in a particular way in front of them, that they will see that even though I come from that end, which was not good, but where I am now, you guys, you don't need to go through that to get where I am. You can just be perfect. So for me, is more of demonstration more than anything. That's why I think I talk a lot. I always make sure that I'm defending I'm defending so many things because my kids are watching. Okay. So in a way, for me, parenting, for me, not everyone, but for me, parenting, it's something that kept me on my toes to be good.
Right.
So it's one of those things where you
when you say parenting kept you on the toes, when you were being parented or you as a parent?
Me as a parent, not when I was being parented.
Right. Yeah. Okay. What about you, Liz?
Yes. I believe there is a quote that says a child that is educated at school alone is not educated enough, something like that. Right. I've heard of it. Yeah. So in that sense, when from what I understand, the French translation of parenting means the education of children. I look at it in two ways. At home, we look at it how we educate our children in terms of values. You know, our family values, our home values, our principles at home. You know, things like, you know, as they say, when somebody grows up, something goes wrong, they're always like, oh, it started in the foundation. So I believe that it's the education that they get at home that is not curriculum, that is not in school, you know, that forms part of their being, their norms, their behaviors, their values, their culture, you know. So in a nutshell, I think that's what kind of translates to me. So the education that they get from home that is outside of the school and so forth. So I think for me, and you need that balance. It's very important. You need that balance. So even in school as well, because that's why there's a bit of a clash, you know, a clash of culture when we live in the UK, but we are Africans and we have our African backgrounds and the way in our own homes, how we teach our kids, how we educate them. And then when they go to school and the law here says differently. So sometimes it can become a bit confusing and a bit of a clash. So, but I think that's what it means. Just educate them at home by setting that standard. And also I think the school as well.
I like what you said about I like that you mentioned school, because when I worked in the school, one of the things that I picked up from parents is that a lot of parents kind of put that responsibility of educating children to the school. Like that's what you go to. Sometimes when you get in trouble, that's what you go to school for. Like what they're teaching you in that school. But is it the school's responsibility, like, to educate our children, or should they be learning it from home and then taking it to school? What do you think, Celestina?
I think it's the parents' job to definitely educate the children. The school's job is to teach them ABCs. Even that, to be honest, I feel like it should even be done at home. You know, algebra and you know geography. I feel like that's what school is really meant for. But school is meant to, because it has a place. But I feel like when we divert our power and our control and our responsibility as parents to the school, that away, and then we complain that, oh, social services. Well, you gave your power away when you weren't, raising your children, when you weren't educating your children, when you weren't being with your children. You gave that power away. So can you really? It's like double standard. It's like on one end we want them to, have that responsibility and cater for our children and raise them and do all this thing. On the other hand, they're like, no, it's my child. I get to do. But then, were you really doing it? It's it's one or the other. Either you think the government's responsibility to raise your child, to clothe your child, to educate your child, to raise your, to do everything, all you think is yours. Is it your responsibility or is it the government? Which one is it? So I feel like that's where
which one is it?
which one is it? And I
Which
think
one is it?
you know, we gave birth, we had them, it was our responsibility. It's our name on their birth certificate. It's not the government, it's not Boris's name on my children's birth certificate. If Boris dies now, you know, that makes no difference to my children's life. You know, if the government becomes Labour tomorrow, that makes no difference to my children's life. Not really. It's me. If anything happens to me, if, you know, that affects my children. So I think we really need to start owning up the responsibility and just saying, yes, we support the school. Yes, we support the teachers. Yeah, we support other people helping us raise our children because it takes a village, but it's our responsibility ultimately.
The foundation.
Yeah, I think some people might say, well, those are strong views, in a sense that, you know, well, they might be thinking, well, what if I don't know this, or what if I don't know that? Like what they spend 5 days, 5 days a week in school, where they see their teachers so much. Like some people might think, well, why can't they, you know, also do that? And that made me think about, in terms of parenting, how does one know, like, you know, I'm doing the right thing, like what I'm doing is what I should be doing, like. So this is where I'm thinking about, with the way that we were brought up, like how does one know I'm doing the right thing and that what I'm doing is enough or sufficient? And what are your thoughts, Celestine? I know you work with parents as well, so what are your thoughts on that?
Well, my thoughts starts from, because I'm a psychotherapist, so my thoughts really comes from that, and the way the human mind works and the way that children's mind works as they grow up. So yes, it is true that, you know, they do spend 5 days a week, but they weren't born and started spending 5 days a week the following day. The foundation of children is the first 5 years. I mean, there's a saying, I can't remember who said it. Show me the 7-year-old and I'll show you the man he would be. So the foundation of your children is you. Yes, they will grow up. Yes, they will be going to school 5 times a week. But when they come back home, have you already in the first 5 years of their life, or, you know, maybe some children start earlier, in the first 3 years of their life at least, did you secure them? Did you raise them to have confidence? Did you raise them to be resilient? Did you raise them to, you know, love themselves? Did you raise them to know that they are enough? So when they do go out there and they are influenced, as everyone will be influenced from time to time, did you raise them to look outward into what are other people doing? Let me copy what other people are doing. Other people are better than me. Did you raise them like that, or did you raise them to be confident? And also, did you raise them to have secure attachment with you? Because when we have secure attachment with our children, they know that they are enough, because the attachment that they have to the main caregiver is so loving and so caring that it doesn't matter what anyone else says out there. The fact is, because they're already secure in the attachment to their main caregiver, it doesn't matter. I mean, people will say to me, so you're so loud. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I wasn't made to please you. And to me, I feel like that confidence comes from having that secure attachment with my dad and my mom and my stepmom, because I felt secure that it doesn't matter what I did, I was secure when I go home. I know that, you know, they did discipline me the way that I think they should have, which I did mention in my book, you know, how different my stepmom was compared to my dad.
So would you say then that's what's been like, your parents, they've been kind of like your guide, your moral compass. They've guided you in terms of the kind of parent that you've become.
They've shown me what to do and what not to do. In my book, I spoke about how my stepmom was. My stepmom showed me what not to do, because I vividly remember how she disciplined and how I felt as a child at her discipline. And there was no way I would ever put that on my child to make my child feel the way I felt. But I think as people grow up, sometimes they kind of forget how they felt as a child being disciplined in a certain way. So they're like, this is how I was disciplined. This is how it should be. And then they do it. But did you like it when you were being disciplined like that? Did it really help you, or did it make you rebellious and stubborn? Because the fact is, when we go back and we think about it, it made us rebellious. It made us hate our parents right there and then. Maybe, you know, deep down we loved them, but right there and then when they were disciplined enough, we hated them. So do I want that for my children? No. So my stepmom and my dad showed me. My stepmom showed me what not to do. not how not to do, how not to raise my children.
How not
and
to
my
do
dad
it.
showed me how to do it.
Liz,
Yes.
this makes me think, I remember watching you on another Let's Talk show, and you talked about, because you're quite a confident person, and as a model, I guess you need to be as well. But as far back as I can remember, I've always seen you as a person that's always come across as confident, and you've been doing modeling for a number of years now. And you talked about your mum and when you were growing up and what your mum was doing. Can you share a little bit about that? Like what made you be how you are, the confidence you have, the way you see yourself, the opinion you have of yourself? What contributed to that?
Yeah, I mean, just like Sister Celestina just said, just having that foundation, growing up, you're having that security in your parents. And for instance, for me, it was my mother, and she supported me. I needed that support, and she gave it to me, especially in my early years when I started modeling. As we can imagine, modeling is an industry that really do affect your self-esteem. It can really question who you are. So you need a thick skin, and you need to really be grounded on who you are. So, and at the time, I believe I was like 19, which is still a young adult, a teenager.
Yeah.
My mother, she would, obviously that anxiety was always there, because as every parent, especially African, when the child is pursuing a modeling career, as all the assumptions, everything that we see out there in the world. So they're always a bit anxious. Oh, is my daughter is going to turn into a drug addict, or she's going to turn into this and that? There's always that anxiety. But I think as well, what reassured my parents or my mother is also to do with me as a child as well. I make sure my education was on point. I make sure, I was doing my part. And that also gave my mother the confidence. And in return, she trusted me and she supported me no matter what. So I remember I'll even do free shows. She'll get on the bus with me. I did a modeling competition, I believe, and I didn't win. So when you put so much effort, you lose the weight, you do everything. And at the end of the day, she'll be there, and we'll be on our way on the bus. So you're my model, you're gonna make it. Just having that belief in me, and reminding me that it is possible for me to really achieve my dreams. And at the same time, she was also very straightforward, and she would be honest with me, and straighten me up. It's just a bit of that balance, and at the same time with my dad as well. So I had that foundation,
That secure attachment.
that secure attachment with my mother, and for me that's very important. Even me as a mother today, we're not perfect, but that always back of my mind, also to because through modeling, when a child has a talent, a talent is to be encouraged, because through that talent, something else can be birthed from it. For instance, in my case, I did model. I modeled between 2011 professionally, 2011 to 2016. I had a 6 years career in modeling. And what came out of that modeling is that it gave me a platform. It exposed me to my community. And with that, I had a voice and influence, and I was able then to create my charity. I was able then to create fashion shows, because I had that connection to bring people together, models, designers, photographers, and bring people together and raise money. And that's very important. And then here I am today, and pursuing other dreams and career and so forth. I'm still into fashion because I love fashion, but it's just to encourage. For me, what my takeaway from my mother and everything is just observe your child and see their talents, their gift. And I know anxiety comes and will be fearful, want to be protective, but just see how you can nurture. Just do your part. See how you can nurture. You can support that dream. And we don't know. Tomorrow they can become, the sky's the limit, and then they can use that platform for greater good.
One of the thing I'm really big about, and it's something that I'm trying to kind of I do mentoring, and I want to start a charity working with young people, and the focus of that is helping them to build their characters, because I do believe that character is, and when we talk about character, there's so many different types of characteristics that we can have. I believe that character is the key to success. And you know, I'm really happy to hear you say what you're saying now, you know, about what you've taken and what it has led to you to become. And had you not had the support from your mom, who knows? I mean, you could have been shy, you may not have been noticed, and so it would have been, you wouldn't have had the characteristics you basically have today. So you know, well done, mom. Hope you give her flowers every Mother's Day. Nina, can you share a little bit? Would you say, is that your experience? I mean, like the way that you were raised and to how you're parenting now, are there similarities, or are you like doing completely different things and trying to shape your children's character?
I had a bit of I call it sharing parenting. I grew up mainly with my maternal grandparent. I spent a lot of time with them because my mom and my dad were very career driven. Okay, they were in the army, and most of the time they always had to be out. And we had a lot of housemaids and everything. So I wouldn't say that I've had like the one-to-one with my parent, but just by observing, you know, as you grow up, then you realize that they're provided. We went to the best school in Congo and we had everything, we dressed well, everything was so perfect. And for me, that I was very secure in the way that, you know, it demonstrated love. I was always surrounded by love. But coming into England now is the question of like, I wouldn't say I was a rebel, but I'm not really a rebel, but I was always as a child.
Okay, if you were.
That's okay.
And my parents can say this. They've seen it from when I was a child. You tell me don't go and play with the kids who don't have shoes. Guess where I'll be? I'll go and play with the kids. Because from a very younger age, I've always already hated the division. I hated the fact that, oh, we only hang around with people that spoke French or whatever, and all those other people. But I will always want to go there because I'm thinking, why? They're just as children. So I enjoyed playing with them more because we play in the sand, you know, and things. And I hated that this is what you do kind of thing. So as a child, I was like that. So with me, I'm the kind of person is, if you come and say, oh, this is how things have to be, I'll be like, well, why? You know, why can't it be like this? So now that I'm into adulthood, I'm training my children to not be limited, to not just accept a yes as a yes and a no as a no. You know, ask question. As a child, I used to ask question. And in teenage years, and I think my parent got to understand, you know, there's always a child. So I was that child, you know, I was that child to my parents. That's like with that one, forget it. Once she gets something in her head, nobody will get it out. So I was always that child, but my foundation as in educational wise and as a person character was absolutely perfect. And that's sort of like demonstrated. But however, I would like to say, sometimes you can be raised up from a very good home, everything goes well, but then there's other people's children that comes into your life, and then you do certain things and then you react in a particular way. So I think when people look at my life, they're always like, oh, this girl, but actually I'm more innocent. It's all to do with the other people's children in a way, because if you come to me and you want to punch me and you dare and you punch me, I will punch you back. Because my mom taught me, as you know, as soldiers, that you don't let people push you around. So you can't push me around. You see, so it's the question of you start first, I just slap you back, the kind of thing. So that's all I can say. Yes, the cause and effect. So parents do parent your kids well, because I taught that to my kids too. You push them around, they'll push you around.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were good lessons.
You know.
They were good lessons.
I'm glad I didn't go to the same school as you, Nina.
No, you don't want to. My 4-year-old, if you hear her speak, you know, but I had that confidence, so, like my grandparents.
Are you so you're parenting different to the way your parents did it, basically?
Yes,
you're allowing your kids to have a voice and
yes,
and ask questions and
not to let my work overtake, kind of thing. While my grandparents taught me, you know, to sit with your kids and talk, because they sat with me a lot, talk to me a lot. I went places with them. But my mom's dad went home, but they were career driven. I mean, the reason why they went home, we know, because we went to the best school. Okay.
Right.
But then I learned from that not to do that, because then you become so distant that your kids look at you like a stranger, basically. Me and my mom now, if you see us, we talk like best friends, and I can't even tell her I love you. That's how deep it is. But when my grandmother died, I cried as if my mother died. If you see what I'm trying to say, but I know that she's still my mom, and I know that I love her, but because it was never there.
Yeah.
But I spend more with her mom, which is still the same.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm trying to say, and I didn't want that with my kids. I wanted to be there with my kids, even though I'm working. And my grandmother was there with me, even though she was working as well.
I think you said something important there, in a sense that when it comes to raising kids, network is important as well. You may not be able to provide for your children what they need, but what's important is that they're surrounded by people who can, aunties, uncles, and I like our culture, because we are kind of grown in that culture where we see our parents at least see each other's kids as their kids, and that's the mentality that they have. But I do have a question about culture. Do we think that culture influences the way that we parent? Let me explain a bit what I mean. When it comes to culture, is parenting the same in Africa? Is it different in Africa compared to England? Or is parenting no matter where you are? I don't know if that question makes sense. So when you think about parenting, right, is parenting the same? Does it mean the same in England? Does it mean the same in Africa? Or if you're African, you parent different. If you're English, you parent Is there a difference? You're laughing, Nina. Why are you laughing?
Sorry, I'm just
You can start us off.
Oh my God, I wish I didn't start. Okay, I'm laughing because I'm just saying the question is parenting different from Africa and everywhere? And the reason why I'm laughing is because there are actually people in Africa who give birth so that the family who are in Europe can help them. Now that, I don't know what that kind of parenting is going to be. But for me personally, parenting is parenting. Parenting is you, me. I chose to give birth to a child, whether I'm in Africa, whether I'm in UK or America or anything. Nina, chose to give birth to a child. So I am responsible for that child. I am responsible if I know that I have to go to work to look for an adult who can stay at home with that child. I am responsible. So parenting really is about the people deciding to bring a life into this world or whatever part of the society you are. What I don't like and what I always speak against is bringing children into this world for the government to take care of them. Right. And I think there's a lot of that's been happening. And the reason of that is because we see what happened on the street with some other teenagers and things, and parents just don't have the time because they were never ready. There are cases where you can say, okay, fair enough. And we have cases where some people are stressed themselves, but they're putting themselves in a position of being a parent. Parenting is like a universal thing. Everywhere you should go, we should be caring for what we bring out. Right. Because it's coming out of us. We make that decision. They don't put a gun in our head to say, you're going to have a child now. And no, we decide. So when you decide to make a decision in your life, you are responsible for it. It doesn't matter where you are in Africa. Because before you made that decision, you thought to yourself that you can. And the fact that you told yourself that you can raise that child, you will raise that child.
I mean, I don't know. Lizette, what do you think? Do you think culture influences the way that we parent? And is there a difference? The way that Africans parent and the way that the English parent?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Definitely. It's all to do with each country. Each country have their laws. Right. They have their culture. And as parents, we are restricted based on that. Example, in Africa or Congo specifically, disciplining a child involves also smacking them.
Right.
So today in Congolese culture, if you have, as a parent, to discipline a child, you hit them as part of discipline. You know, they used to do it to us back home. The child or the neighbor will not call the police to come, oh, you're beating your child. You see what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But if you are a parent that you have that culture, or you was doing it back home and then you move to the UK now, you cannot really carry that culture here in a way that you can still discipline a child. People still do it. But if, for instance, today the social service, the police are called because you hit your child and they have a bump and they have a bruise, before you know it, all the agencies are all connected, having a meeting somewhere with paperwork for your child.
So culture definitely influences then.
Yes, definitely. The culture and the laws of the country. And so we're quite limited to what we can just have to adapt to each culture. But then again, it's a bit conflicting question.
Okay, I want to pass this on to Celestine, because
yes,
I know what I know what I'm thinking in my head, and I read something in the book. And so that's why I want to bring it to you, because, okay, I really want to understand, when it comes to parenting, should it be the same? Is parenting, whether you're African, Asian, English, is it different? Now, I understand what Lizette is saying, and it's true, because we are, different countries have different laws that play a part in terms of what you can and cannot do. But when we're talking about parenting, now remember, we said the definition of parenting, according to the French, is about the education of children. So if we're talking about the education of children, how should we be educating our children? Should we be smacking, or should we not? So like, is parenting? Because I tell you why I asked this question. One of the difficulties I've had in my job when I worked, for different boroughs, is this. It's like, you have the Caribbeans who will give you a certain attitude about their rights, about how they should be parenting their children. And then you will have the Irish even have a certain attitude about how they should be parenting their children. That's why I'm asking us, is parenting, or does it look different because you are from the Caribbean? Celestine.
I think parenting is parenting. Like you said, it's about educating your children. It's about raising your children to be resilient, to be able to withstand whatever life will bring at them, whatever challenges life will bring at them, because life is going to bring your children whatever life is going to bring them. We don't have control over, not really, what life brings us. What we have control over is how we are able to navigate and grow from it. So are we raising our children and educating our children so they are resilient to be able to withstand anything? Or we're raising children because of our fear of, if I don't beat this child, if I don't do this to this child, they might end up in prison. Well, that's your fear. That's not the reality. Deal with whatever the child has done now. And spanking, as I wrote a whole book about it because of how passionate I feel about it in the Black community.
Yes. I know.
Yeah, exactly, the Black community. Obviously, the book is for everyone, but I was definitely coming at the Black community because there is this thing of, it's our right. This is how we do it. This is the only way to do it. They're restricting us. They're stopping us parenting. They're stopping us. And it's like, no, they're not stopping you parenting.
They're not stopping you.
They are helping you raise your child better. They are coming in when they feel you are harming your child, because it is a harm. And I explained that in the book. I explained how especially Black people of African heritage, whether you're Caribbean or, Black American, of African heritage, and Jewish people, those two types of people are the two people that you should never hit your child. The impact is so damaging to their core, to their DNA. I explained that in my book, up to their DNA. Those two types of people, you should never, ever hit that child, because it's already in their DNA from slavery and from colonization. Everything is stored in our DNA. And research has proven that when you look at a white person's DNA where they hardly hit, and you look at a Black person or a Jewish person's DNA, it only takes a little bit of stress to trigger mental health disorder in these types of people, African heritage people and Jewish people. And that is because of, you know, Holocaust and, the slavery
the
that they went
traumas they've gone through.
when Hitler happened, and even before Hitler happened, which we read about in the Bible, when there were slaves. And so parenting is parenting, regardless where you're from. But I feel like because of our past slavery colonization, we have molded certain types of discipline and certain types of parenting to be our culture, and we hold it so dear, our culture so dear. But the truth is, that's not even our culture. That culture started about 400 years ago. Before then, that was not our culture. The white man got that culture.
Right. Well, sis, listen, hold
Thank
that
you.
thought, yeah, because that's a whole conversation. Like we have to literally just hold that thought. I want to ask her. So with parenting, right? After everything that you've just said, especially those of us that may have experienced trauma in terms of the way that we have been raised, and so we might think hitting is okay, but it's not okay. The question I want to ask, and I want Lizette to answer this first, and then I want everyone to give their perspective, is why is it that we don't ask for help? We have so much resources available when it comes to parenting. There are parenting programs out there. I can give you a list. I'm trained in 3 of the different parenting programs that are out there. Why is it that when I've run programs, I am telling you the very honest truth, right? You are going to see perhaps one Black person. And when they're coming, and I had this happen to me back in 2015, where I had a, African Caribbean lady who came. She walked in. When she saw me, she was like, right? Why? Because she saw a Black person. So I don't know what she was thinking she was going to get because she saw a Black person who was going to deliver the program. But, the truth of it is that we do not ask, we don't go, we don't attend these programs. And why is that? What's stopping us? What's the challenges, Lizette?
It's a very complex question, to be honest. Because
let me start with asking
because it varies.
Are you aware that there are different parenting courses out there that people can attend if they need support around parenting, if they need some help? Was you aware that these parenting courses exist, workshops exist?
As I said, it's a very complex subject because it's also just to do with the level of education. You know, you find that a lot of people in African or Caribbean communities, they don't so much want to embrace this stuff. Some of them there's also just factors such as limited how would I say this?
Would you say is lack of knowledge? Like how we're always talking about, that I said earlier on about reading, right? I made the joke about reading. How many people read books about parenting? Do they want to even read books about parenting? Do you know what I mean? Like,
and you have a category of people that they rely so much in their scholarly bubble. They rely so much in their circle, and they have this preconceived already ideas, and it just blocks us out. It's all to do with your environment, your circle, and their beliefs. If you all believe that, there's nothing, those books doesn't really help. What do you need books for? You find also maybe some even religious people, you'll be like, I'm not going to read that. For instance, as Christians, you say, the Bible teaches me everything I need to know about parenting, everything. I follow the Bible. I don't need to read those. So it's just different. It's very difficult. And then if you find yourself an African or African Caribbean lady, even like ourselves here, where we are more exposed from our work, we are exposed to different cultures, we went to universities, we read a lot, we're exposed to a certain knowledge, and our minds as well, our mindset is quite different. So it's all about the mindset as well. Our mindset is different. So it's a bit difficult. It's a bit of a difficult question. But I'll speak for me. I was talking about exposure. I went to school. I did my master's. So I love reading, and my mind is, I have an open mind. I have an open mind to read a book, or to do a workshop on parenting, or to watch videos when I feel stuck. I don't understand something, yes, I can always go back to my mom or to my aunties to give me, the in-house wisdom in the family. I can always fall back, because that also is very important, just having that balance. I'll go back to them, and sometimes as well, I just need that bit of rational. I'll go and I'll read and I'll research. So it all just depends, to be honest. It just depends. It depends, because sometimes somebody can be, or a group of people can be in ignorance of something, and they just reject the knowledge, but they don't know about it. See what I mean? So it's all just depends, to be honest.
What do you think, Nina?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand where Lizette is trying to say. I usually call it in my life coach program, mind development. Our mind, we say to ourselves that we have three bodies, the physical, the mind, which we call the soul, and then there's the spirit. From the moment that we are conscious that these three exist, for somehow, especially Congolese, I can only speak from a Congolese as African, because I'm Congolese, they only develop the physical. And the mind is like what Lizette said, is like they come or they move with a mind that's already got a decision in it. So it's sort of like you have to remove it in order for you to put something in it. So for me, it's the question of what Tina said as well about slavery. There's that as well. And again, we're back into the foundation as well. It's one of those things where it's like, get into the roots of the problem, because people are different, individuals are different. I don't like to call people stupid, because I don't actually believe people are stupid. It's just that people choose to be stupid. So
what's the difference?
That's stupid. When you choose, it's like, you've chosen to be stupid. Because like we said, even back home, there are practices which are pretty good. And I like the example that Lizette used about biblical. Like some people just rely on maybe just the Bible. Okay, I have the Bible. If my child is sick, I don't need to take him to GP. I just need to read the Bible, or it's great. But you can do that. Also take him to GP just to check what's wrong, because that's the physical body and not spiritual. Because people tend to mix everything into one. And I think that's what the challenge is. We need to keep the balance in knowing that this is physical, this is spiritual, this is mental. Don't mix everything. And Congolese, unfortunately, have that habit of mixing everything under one basket. And I think that's where the danger is, and that's where the problem is for me. I think it's just learning the balance and separating matters so that you judge them rightfully. This is a physical matter, this is a mental matter, this is a spiritual matter. Don't put them all together.
I agree. I want to read a comment that's been posted by a couple of people. So, Gaio Destiny, I think stigma plays a big role. So this is what some of the audiences are saying. So stigma plays a big role. Another comment is, I think it's because a lot of us are in denial when it comes to poor parenting skills. So that's what the audiences are saying. Thank you, my ladies. Ladies, we need to do this. Someone said we need to do this.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. So just to wrap up, Celestina, what's your contribution on that last question?
I can't even remember your question. I can just remember Lizette.
we were talking about attending parenting programs.
Oh yeah, I mean,
so your contribution on and why Africans or Americans or Asians don't attend parenting program. I don't want to be stereotypical, like just Congolese don't attend parenting program. But yeah, why don't we attend parenting courses program?
In 2011, when the riots happened in UK, Croydon the youth in Croydon burnt Croydon. So the burnt cars, the burnt shops, the stole, the broke, the destroyed. Croydon, a lot more than other areas of UK got destroyed. And the Home Office and the government were like, But what is going on in Croydon? Why is the youth just, if that's where you live, why are you destroying it? So I was one of the people that the Home Office hired to go and kind of do a little research in schools to find out, why do you guys hate Croydon? You live in Croydon, you go school in Croydon, your family is here. Why? What was that about? And part of that research was parenting. So we also wanted to speak to the parents and, ask them, what was that about? And like you said, hardly any Black parents turned up. We wrote them letters. We even went into their school. So it's not even that they had to come to us. You're coming to pick up your child at 3:30, 3 o'clock. We would do the workshop and we would do the research at that time. You just have to come inside the hall and just stay there for 5-10 minutes. No, Black parents, white parents were like, yeah, let's do this. Asian parents was like, okay, whatever.
I've got to go home and cook.
Yeah, we'll come in 5 minutes. If you're taking too long, we'll just leave. Black parents were like, no, I wanted to talk to you. Why do I need to? The attitude was just like, what is that about? And, when we then, I'm not saying not any Black parent turned up, some Black parent did turn up.
Yeah.
Black parent that turned up, they were so into it. They were more into it than white and Asian people. They were like, putting up their hand, they were so into it. And when I look at the names of those children, of the parents that turned up and the parents that didn't turn up, the children of the parents that didn't turn up, they were the troublemakers in school. So it's like, and some white parents didn't turn up as well, and their children was really, the child is always, getting in trouble, always fighting, always, always stealing other people's stuff. Those parents, their children were the one doing all those things. So I guess it comes back to those parents. I feel like they know exactly what they're doing. And maybe it's the guilt, because, as parents, we do have that parenting guilt. So maybe it's that guilt of they know they're not doing good enough and they don't want to be judged. And they feel like these parenting courses will judge them. These social workers will judge them and they will come down hard on them and they might take the children. So I think maybe that is part of it, that parenting guilt. But to me personally, if I feel I can do something better, I'm up for it. How can I be better for my child? Tell me, show me. I'm a psychotherapist for about 15 years, but you know what? I can still learn. What can I do? I'm just that kind of person, because if I can learn, I want to learn.
Yeah.
But not everyone is that open-minded.
Yeah, I hear you. And I think, to wrap up, that is a good place to kind of end the conversation, which is that, you're never too old to learn. You have to have an open mind. And, when you hear, or even if you're experiencing something in your own home and you don't know, children go through, like, there's stages of development. Like you've got certain things that you go through when, like they say, the terrible twos, right? So you've got certain things you go through when they're in their 2, 3, then they're 5, 6, and you go through something. And then when they're like 9, 10, you go through something. And then they go to secondary school, you go through something. So it's literally a journey of learning and experiencing. So you can never say you just know everything. And, watch Let's Talk Parenting. It's created for us to give us information that can help us. Attend parenting courses. My friend Celestina is a psychotherapist. She has an amazing business where she's working with parents, especially those who, I don't know if it's children who have experienced trauma or the parents themselves. And, or both. If you are somebody that is going through something, get the help. There's no shame in that. Doesn't matter if you're Asian, doesn't matter if you're Black, it doesn't matter if you're white. Get the help so that your child can grow up and be successful, be the person that you want them to be. So, we could be here all day talking about parenting, but I'm conscious that you've all got things to do and your kids are waiting for you. So I want to say, for me, I am very, very grateful. I kept this till last. I'm really, really grateful to you three, Nina, Lizette, Celestina. Thank you so much for coming on this live edition of Let's Talk Parenting to have this conversation with me. nowadays, you know, if you want somebody to help you and somebody says, yes, I'll be there for you, honestly, you need to give God thanks. You need to be grateful. And I don't mean that in a nasty way, but people are occupied with their own things. People don't have time. So when someone says, yes, I'll help you, I'll be there, be grateful. So I'm grateful to God for you, Nina, Lizette, Celestina. Thank you so much for sacrificing the time to be here so that we can have this conversation. Just to wrap up, I want each of you to just, you know, share your last thoughts on what do you think a difference that parenting makes in a child's life. Just to wrap up, we can start with Nina, Lizette, and then Celestina.
Parenting is important, and the difference that it makes to our children's life is when we're not there, whatever we've taught them stays with them. And I've always told all my clients one thing, and this is a line I'm going to end with. And it simply says that raise your child to be an excellent individual in the society where you live. Because then when you're gone, they will always be remembered as your child.
That's very true. That's wonderful wisdom. Thank you, Nina. Thank you very much. Lizette?
Yes, parenting is just setting that foundation, setting a foundation for your children. As they leave, you know, they can leave the house physically, or if when you're not around, or you pass away, that foundation, that, because a lot of problems people have today is root causes problems. Somebody don't just become an adult and start having mental health problems or disruptive behaviors. There's a cause, and it comes from the root cause. So, and our children, we are the foundation for our children. Just like I believe Celestina says, the first 7 years, is it Celestina or Veronica?
Yes, Celestina.
The first 7 years of a child's life is so significant. So even if they feel like they've forgotten, it's in the subconscious, and that catches up with them later on in life. So for me as a parent, and I have to be intentional about this, or every day reminding myself, what am I planting in those children? They said it's better. I think it said it's better. There's a quote that says something along the line of it's better to build, solid, strong, healthy children now than to repair broken adults in the future.
So, I've read something like
that.
The one I read was about a man. Better to basically do the job while he's a boy, so you don't regret it when he becomes a man.
Something like that. Yeah. So foundation for me every day, just being intentional about planting a seed in my children. Whether that is being resilient, whether that is being soft. Don't need to be hard. Being soft, being resistant, being determined, and believing that you can, and that it's possible. It's possible for you to achieve.
I knew you'll bring that in there. C'est possible. It's possible. Thank you so much, Lizette. I really appreciate that. Celestina.
He almost went French on us. I was like, I don't speak French. For me, I feel like the two ladies have said it all. Definitely trying, parenting is about raising resilient, confident children. So, when you are gone, when life does come, and life is going to come, with whatever challenges it needs to come with, that you've raised them so they are able to, to be still stand and still be resilient and still strong enough and still loving themselves and loving life. Because sometimes life happens and we feel like, or something bad might happen on a certain day, and it just feels like that person now feels like their life is over, their life is not worth it. Whereas if that foundation, like Lizetta was saying, is already in there, where they love themselves, they're so optimistic about what the purpose in life, and they know they can achieve so much even when they do get knockbacks. They're still optimistic because it's just in them. You've built that in them from childhood, that they just wide-eye about life. What can I do next? How can I learn from my mistake now? How can I learn from this failure now? You've built that in them already. So I think, like Lizette and Nina said as well, each day we need to be intentional with what we're doing with our children, how we're speaking to them, what we're doing, because children are hearing us, but they're also watching us. And a lot of the time, parents, we just want them to hear what we've said. So sit down there, be polite, do your work, be nice to people, but are you a mirror to that? Are you mirroring that when you speak to them? Are you respectful when you speak to your children? Because you want other people to respect them, but if you're disrespecting them in your home, in their home, then they might grow up to think that that is just how people talk to them. That is just how they should be valued, because you have disvalued them so much at home. So we just need to be intentional on how we're spending time with our children, even if it's 5 minutes per week. Make intentional that just spend that time with that just one child, and just let that child, I mean, I call it, I'm not going to say my son's name, but let's say his name is Bananas. His name is not Bananas. We have banana time. So it's just his time. And then I have that with my second child. So they know, you know, oh, would you like to have banana time? And they'll be so excited, even though it's just 5 minutes, and I get the 5 minute time and I'm like, it's going to be just 5 minutes. But they know they get to play whatever game they want to play. They get to do whatever they want to do, whatever show they want to watch. I'm going to sit there and watch it with them, even if I don't want to, because it's their time. So I think we just need to try and be intentional with our children, try and build secure attachment with them, and just, you know, push that confidence in them that they are valued, they are loved, and they are amazing. They are birthed for greatness. There's a song that I tend to sing to my children in the morning, and it's "You're excellent." You know, if I ask one of my children, like, who's excellent? They'll be like, I am. And I ask the other one, who's excellent? And he will say he is. And that is like, no, everyone is excellent. I'm like, no. Everyone is excellent in their own head, but in their head, they are the most excellent person in this world. And I feel like we really need to build confidence in our children, because life is gonna come and we need them to be prepared.
Wow, ladies, oh my gosh, I tell you, this is a topic that has no end, but we must end. So, you know, I'm not going to add, because I think you three have definitely done the summary justice. So I don't need to add anything. The only thing I will add is, guys, support me with this channel by subscribing and sharing this video or any other videos that I do. Share it with your friends and family so that they can get this wisdom, because wisdom is the principal thing. Get wisdom, get understanding. That's what my pastor used to say, and he has a valid point in saying that it's actually scriptural. So listen, you don't know everything, so, you know, allow us to share with you the wisdom that we have. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you have picked up something as well, your parents, but, you know, I'm sure you picked up something.
Oh, definitely.
Absolutely.
So this is it, guys. Remember to get the book. All three ladies are also on social media, Facebook and Instagram. So, you know, feel free to check them out, but I will put some information in the description section so you can connect with them as well. Thanks, guys, for staying put with us. We love you and I appreciate you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.